What's up, guys? Welcome to all the new subscribers. Somehow we got 30 some new subscribers in the past 30 days. It's amazing. Welcome to you all. If you don't know who I am, my name is Justin. I got diagnosed with POTS syndrome something around like 7 years ago. I got myself better through a whole bunch of stuff that I'll talk about in this video. And I now have competed in CrossFit post, POTS diagnosis, do mixed martial arts, I do jiu-jitsu, I do Muay Thai. I'm back to normal life. And so in this video, what I wanted to do was talk about the 3 things that I would do if I got diagnosed with POTS syndrome tomorrow. If I was newly diagnosed with POTS syndrome tomorrow. Now, a lot of people are new subscribers here, so I'm assuming that either you guys are just finding out that you got POTS syndrome, or you think you do, whatever it is. So the first thing that I would do if I just got diagnosed with POTS syndrome, or I just had this assumption that I have POTS, is I would stay the frick off of Facebook, Reddit, and all these support groups. The reason being, I tell this to all of my POTS clients, these groups are not conducive to your mental health whatsoever. They will not help you get better from POTS. They will only make you feel like you are going to die tomorrow. It will all be doomsday. And if there's one thing that I want to reassure you watching this video and anyone with POTS syndrome, all my clients, is that there is absolutely light at the end of the tunnel. You can absolutely recover from POTS syndrome, but it really requires a lot of this and not any of this and this, okay? If you want to recover from POTS syndrome, it's going to require that you are in a calm state of mind and you are in a problem-solving state of mind. Hold on, let me take a sip of my coffee. I can have this now because I don't have POTS. I'm recovered. I know how to deal with POTS symptoms, stuff like that. You need to be in a relaxed state. If we just look at this super simplistically, okay, what POTS syndrome is. It is a dysfunction. It is a dysautonomia, right? It is a dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system. Now, I'm not going to get too scientific or too technical, but basically what that means is that you're always in the fight or flight mode. Anxiety, oh my gosh, the littlest symptom, let's go to the hospital, I need to go to the hospital. And because you get this anxiety, the symptoms get worse and worse and worse. And that's where you end up down that road where your heart rate is spiked up. You don't know why. Now you're convincing yourself that something worse is going on. Your heart rate is super high. You're going on Reddit. You're going on Facebook. What does this mean? And everybody's like, you need to call the ambulance, blah, blah, blah. What we need is for you to be in calm mind, a calm spirit, and you need to be able to work on this. So far, if the stats are still the same, no one's ever died from POTS syndrome, directly from POTS syndrome. You are safe. You are fine. Your body is stuck in fight or flight. We need to figure out how to self-regulate the nervous system. And that's not going to start with you freaking out every single time you get dizzy or every time you feel anxious. Alongside of this is this. On those pages, they'll tell you that the doctors are gaslighting you because they're telling you that you have anxiety, and it's not anxiety, it's POTS and blah, blah, blah. Regardless of whether or not the anxiety causes the POTS symptoms or the symptoms cause the anxiety, doesn't really matter. Something that we have to acknowledge is that anxiety is a part of the equation, and it absolutely does exacerbate what you are going through. So we need to figure out how to regulate that. So what I would do is I would stay off the Facebook pages. I would stay off the Reddit pages because they're not conducive to this, which is the muscle that we need to flex in order to get this feeling better. And do breath work and do things that are going to calm you down. Things like grounding, breath work, eating properly, hydrating, electrolytes, sleeping, all this stuff. The second thing that I would do if I got diagnosed tomorrow, knowing everything that I know now, is I would go and get a mold toxicity test done, an organic acids test done, and if my wallet could afford it, I'd go get my gene SNPs tested. So I would figure out what mutations I have in what genes. It's really hot today, so I'm just like drinking everything. This is super important because it's my personal opinion, and people are going to not like this, but it's my personal opinion that POTS is a symptom of a broader problem, and it can be exacerbated from different illnesses or chronic symptoms that you might be going through. So whether that is literally nervous system dysregulation, what is the reason for that? Is it because of stress? Is it because of mold toxicity? Is it because of a parasite? Is it because of your Krebs cycle being off, or the Krebs cycle, probably not, your citric acid cycle being off, like all these different things? What is the reason for it? Or is it really like your nervous system, in my opinion, doesn't just dysregulate out of nowhere? Like POTS is a symptom of something that went wrong somewhere. So whether that's like a traumatic childhood, or it could be all the stress that you're bearing because you were out in the heat for too long, plus you have the stress of money, and you have the stress of like how your relationship is going, what have you, right? It's always going to be a byproduct, from what I've seen and what I've experienced, of other things that are compounding in your life that cause this thing to happen. So I would go get testing done, rule a bunch of stuff out, and then figure out how to support those things if they are the things that are the problem. And if they're not, then you can probably extrapolate from that the POTS is coming from some sort of stressor that's in your life, which is really important to acknowledge as well. I have not dealt with one POTS client, not one, that POTS didn't come on during a very stressful period of life. Like something happened and then boom, everything changed. Whether it was a breakup, or they had a fight with somebody, they lost their job, they did something extreme outside. Like always there's a stressor that started the thing. It's never ever just come on randomly. There's always been something that kind of like, that was the catalyst for it. And the third thing that I would do, and this is kind of two things into one point, is I would figure out how to regularly exercise and what kind of diet model I need to follow to best support my individual case. So when I have clients that come to me for POTS, what I do is I always have them track their food for 7 days. And what they do in that period of time, they track their food for 7 days, and then they track symptoms within 30 minutes to 2 hours post meal. That way we have data for 7 days, okay? With that 7 days worth of data, we look at when they had symptoms, after what meals, and what could be the common denominator. So cake one day, ice cream the next day. Hey, I'm noticing both of these times you had symptoms within 30 minutes. This is what I think it is. I think that it's going to be the processed sugar. Let's pull that out. That's the easiest example that I can give. It could be nuts. It could be something else. You guys get what I'm saying. You're smart enough to figure that out. Okay. Then the first thing that I mentioned was fitness. And fitness is going to look a lot different when you're first starting out with POTS, because it's likely that you have like air hunger. It's likely that you feel dizzy. It's likely that your heart rate gets out of whack. It gets super high, super quick. There's a couple things here. Number one, you are not actually literally starving for air. Your oxygen is just fine. Number two is that your heart rate is only getting, sorry, somebody was doing something to me outside the car. Your heart rate is spiking because you're deconditioned. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to die. A heart rate of even 200 is not going to kill you if it's not sustained for an extremely long period of time. So get that fear out of your head. Stop worrying about that. You need to get your heart rate up and bring it back down so that you can acclimate your body to regulating heart rate and regulating blood pressure and regulating the different planes of movement that you need to be in. So a lot of these, I'm going off on a tangent here, but a lot of these other programs, such as the CHOP protocol and whatever, have you doing everything prone, seated, all these different things. I heavily dislike that. I don't think that's practical. I've never seen it work for anybody long term. They always have some sort of relapse, because in real life, if you want to get back to real life, you're not doing everything prone. So amazing. You've gotten good at hip thrusts on the ground. Cool. What does that do for you standing up? It does nothing for you standing up, because you don't hip thrust standing up. So your body hasn't gone through the necessary adaptations to be able to handle walking around or even standing for longer periods of time. So anyway, everybody's journey in the beginning looks different because people can tolerate different things. If prone exercises is where you're at so far, then that's amazing. That's where you're at so far. That's where you start. But then you eventually have to get to the point where you're like starting to stand. So like maybe you're doing hip thrusts on week 1. Maybe on week 2, you're starting to do air squats to like a cushion on your couch, and then you sit down because you're tired, whatever. But you need to get yourself back. You need to get yourself regulated. You need to learn how to get back into a standing position, walking positions, right? And so working out might also look like just getting steps in for somebody, because that's where their fitness level is at and that's what they can handle. Always do things up until you get to the point of having symptoms and not past it. Don't push too much. I always say we want to teeter on the line of safety. And what that means is this: you're not actually going to die. Nothing is actually going to happen to you. You're not going to have a medical emergency, but you will start convincing yourself that you're going to have a medical emergency, okay? Or that this time is different, whatever it is. It's not any different. It's just not. It never has been. You've been to the hospital a million times. It's never changed. It's never been bad, right? We already know that. We have the information. So what this means is we don't want your workouts or whatever you're doing to try to improve it to be imposed on because you're having health anxiety. So we just want to get to that point where like we're a little bit uncomfortable, and then once we get there, all right, we're done. We're done for the day. We're done for the day. Until we get later on in your program or later on into your journey, then we know that we can push a little bit past that because we feel safer. But when you're first starting, we just want to get to that point, and then we're like, okay, done. That might be 5 squats for you, literally. Then the next day it might be 6. The next day it might be 7. You guys see where I'm going. So anyway, you guys, those are the 3 things that I would do if I was diagnosed with POTS syndrome tomorrow. I would, what was the first one that I said? I would stay off the Facebook and Reddit pages. Number 2 is I would rule everything out by getting those tests done. And number 3, and most importantly, diet and exercise are the 2 things that I would figure out. You guys, if you need help with this, I'm taking on 5 to 10-ish more POTS people for one-on-one coaching. And then I also have a group coaching program in my app. Send me an email at JQFit or click this link down in the description. The group coaching link, I'm taking up to 50 people in that. It's a cheaper option. It's $75 a month. And we are going to do Skypes every other week in order to answer questions, in order to come into community and talk to each other and help with your journey. And that's about it. That's all I got for you guys today. Welcome to all the new people. Thanks so much for watching. If you don't want to join the coaching, you don't want to join the group calls and stuff like that, totally fine. Glad to have you here. Talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.